Welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about how you can use Tasks in a Box to help you manage and grow your practice. We're going to talk about three main points in this video. First one is how to use Tasks in a Box to follow up on your team. We still see a lot of practices that rely on email to manage their team. They use emails to distribute work to their team members, and they use email to get status updates about the work that is being done. This typically results in a lot of emails going back and forth without having a clear overview of what everyone is working on. I'm going to show you how you can use Tasks in a Box to make it easier for you to follow up on your team and the work that they are doing. The second topic I would like to discuss in this video is how you can use Tasks in a Box to follow up on your emails. If you're using Tasks in a Box to follow up on your team, you will see that you will drastically reduce the number of emails in your inbox. Nevertheless, you and your team will still receive a lot of emails from your clients with all sorts of questions and requests. I'm going to show you how you can use Tasks in a Box to better follow up on all your important emails so that nothing falls through the cracks. The last topic I would like to cover is how you can use Tasks in a Box to set up your own workflows. It is important for every practice that your team is following the necessary procedures when doing their work. It assures you that all the required steps are taken and that you deliver the quality of service that your clients expect from you. So I'm going to show you how you can use templates in Tasks in a Box to set up your own workflows for the different services that you provide. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, how to use Tasks in a Box to follow up on your team. If you have a look at Tasks in a Box, you will see in the left navigation a list of projects that I'm currently working on. You're typically going to create a project for each of your clients. This helps you keep track of all the things that you and your team need to do for each of your clients. So currently I have the Contoso client open. So you immediately see all the tasks that I still need to do for this particular client. You'll see a number of recurring jobs that we need to do, such as, for example, the monthly bookkeeping or the budget review, as well as some explicit questions that we received from that client. When you select a task, you get to see all its details. You can set a whole bunch of properties on a task, but I'm just going to highlight the most important ones. To schedule your work, you can set due dates on tasks. The owners of a task gets a reminder of upcoming tasks so that he never misses a deadline again. You can also create recurring tasks. As an accountancy firm, you typically have a bunch of jobs that you need to do on a regular basis. For example, every month or every 3 months. When you create a recurring task, we will automatically repeat the task for you on the chosen interval. You can also delegate tasks to your team members. The assignee of a task becomes responsible for completing that task. This way, the ownership of all your tasks gets clearly defined. You can also use checklists to break your task down into smaller pieces. This makes it easier for you to follow up on the progress of each of your tasks. When you want to ask a question or share a status update about a task, you can use the task conversations to do so. Instead of having to go to email, you can simply post a comment within the context of your task. So in this example, Sarah noticed that a task assigned to Peter was overdue. So she simply posted a question to check what was going on. The nice thing is that the complete history of your conversations are maintained on your tasks. so you can always have a look afterwards to refresh your memory. You can share documents on your tasks as well. Maybe you have a calculation sheet or a guideline that is required for completing this task. Let's get back to our task list. There are different ways how to visualize your tasks in Tasks in a Box, and it's very easy to switch between the different views that you have. If you're interested in getting an instant overview of who is responsible for the different tasks in this project, you can group your tasks by assigned to. Now you have a clear overview of what Fran, James, John, and Sarah need to work on. You can also group your tasks by due date. This makes it immediately clear that we have 4 tasks overdue for this client and that we haven't any tasks scheduled for today or tomorrow. We also support a Kanban view on your tasks. This view organizes your tasks into different swim lanes. This view is especially useful when you're implementing your own workflow, as you can clearly see the exact status of each of your tasks. You can use drag and drop to move your tasks forward. There's also a calendar view that you can use. It will display all your tasks on a calendar based on their due dates. Use this view to get a better understanding of your planning and to reschedule your work using drag and drop if necessary. Each project also contains a dashboard. This dashboard helps you to follow up on the progress of your project by displaying a number of KPIs. Just to give you a few examples. The KPI at the top gives you insight in the total number of tasks created versus the total number of tasks completed over time. If the gap between the blue and red line keeps growing, it might mean that this project is understaffed. A second example is the KPI at the bottom. This one gives you an overview of the workload for the different people involved in this project. You can clearly see who has the most work or who has the most overdue tasks. This is how you can set up a project for each of your clients and keep track of all the work that needs to be done. I also showed you how you can assign tasks and set due dates. Now let's have a look at what this means for team members. As a team member, you need to know what you have to work on each day. That's why we created the focus list in Tasks in a Box. It's the first thing that you see when you sign in, and it gives you immediately an overview of all the things that you should work on today. You can also have a look at your scheduled tasks for the next coming days. Or you have a look at My Tasks that gives you an overview of all tasks assigned to you. We've also made it very easy for you to reschedule your work with just a few clicks. Maybe some other job got a higher priority and you have to do some rescheduling of your work. As a team leader, you can always follow up about any changes that have been made. If you don't want team members to change their schedule, you can disable this as well. When something important happens, you'll receive a notification. For example, when someone posts a comment on one of your tasks, or when someone assigns you a new task. Clicking on the notification brings you directly to the correct task. If you are a team leader, you are responsible for following up on your team across the different projects that your team is working on. We've created an easy view to get an overview of all the open tasks of your team. Use drag and drop to quickly move work from one team member to the other. The calendar view is especially useful here as well, as it gives you insight in the planning of your team across your different clients. Note that you can sync this calendar view with your calendar in Outlook as well. Use the team dashboard to follow up on the progress and workload of your team. The dashboard includes KPIs about the workload of your team and how your team is performing. Catch Up gives you an activity feed of what your team has been up to lately. It shows you who has created and completed certain tasks, who has rescheduled work, and so on. At the bottom, you can, for example, see in the last card that Peter has changed the due date of the text review task. The great thing is that you can immediately post a comment to ask Peter why the deadline was postponed. This is how you can use Tasks in a Box to follow up on your team, allowing you to reduce the amount of internal emails and giving you a better understanding of the work at hand. In the next part, I'm going to show you how you can use Tasks in a Box to follow up on your email as well. Let's start with Peter. Peter just got an email from one of our clients. The client has a question about a tax form that needs to be validated and mentions that it is quite urgent. Instead of just leaving the email in my personal inbox or forwarding this email to one of my colleagues, I'm going to add this email to Tasks in a Box. Click the Add Email to Task List button in the ribbon to convert the email into a task. The task gets created and pop-ups in the right sidebar in Outlook. The great thing is that the email gets attached to this task. So no matter who will work on this task in the future, he or she will have access to that same email. I can now move that email into the correct client project. In this case, I'm moving it to the Contoso project. As this is an urgent task, I'm going to set a due date as well to make sure that our client gets the answer to his question on time. As I'm not so familiar with the tax regulations myself, I'm going to delegate this email to my colleague James, who turns out to be an expert on this matter. Now, how does this look like from the point of view of James? Well, James is working in Tasks in a Box and receives a notification that Peter has assigned him a new task. You also see that the email was added to the Contoso project in the Questions by Clients section. When James clicks the notification, the corresponding task opens. As this task is linked to an email, you will not only see the task details on the right side, but the actual email as well. The email attachments, in this case the text form, are stored together with the email as well. So James has all the necessary information to start working on this task. When James has a question, he can simply use the task comments to ask a question to Peter. No need to send an email. When James is ready to reply, he can simply hit the Reply to this conversation button. All the replies to the original email, not only from your team, but from the client as well, are added to the same task, so that you always have a complete overview of the conversation. James can mark the task as completed to remove the task from the task list. Because Peter initiated the task, he will receive a notification to let him know that the email was handled successfully. I'm going to conclude this video with one last part. I already showed you how you can use Tasks in a Box to follow up on your team and your emails. In this last part, I want to show you how to use Tasks in a Box to implement your own workflows and how you can make sure that your team follows the necessary procedures. You can create your own templates in Tasks in a Box for the different services and processes that you have. As you can see in this example, you might set up templates for preparing financial reports, the preparation of bank reconciliations, or the verification of certain tax requirements. In this demo, I'm going to show you the client onboarding template that I've created. Each time that there is a new client at your practice, a number of things needs to be done by our team. Contract needs to get signed, bank access arranged, Xero needs to be configured, and so on. When we want to onboard a new client, we create a new project based on that client onboarding template. We enter our name and set a start date of the project. Once done, we hit the Create Project button to get started. As you see, a complete list of tasks get automatically created. Tasks related to administrative jobs, tasks related to setting up Xero, and so on. Due dates are automatically calculated based on the start date we've set on the project, and tasks are assigned to the correct people within the team. You can include any task details in your templates as well. For example, for the task where we want to follow up the client on social media, we included a checklist to make sure that the social media platforms we want to cover are certainly done. Another example is a manual that we included as attachment to a task so that it is clear for the assignee how to complete that given task. We can set dependencies between tasks as well. The configuration of the payroll details in Xero cannot be started as long as the client details are not yet added. When the client details are added to Xero, the owner of the configure payroll details gets notified so that he knows he can start working on his task. As long as the dependent task is not completed, the user will not be able to complete this task. Creating a new template is very easy. You simply set up a new project, create all the tasks, and set all the configurations, such as checklists, due dates, assignees, and so on. Once you're done, you simply save that project as a template. This concludes our video for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in learning more about Tasks in a Box, you can always visit our website at tasksinabox.com and start your free trial. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at james@tasksinabox.com.